Allison from Learning at the Primary Pond. I'm a literacy specialist, and in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the hand movements that I use when I'm working on developing phonological awareness skills with my primary students. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would love for you to do that now, and then also hit the little bell so that you're notified every time I post a brand new video. First things first, what is phonological awareness? Well, phonological awareness is the awareness of and ability to work with the sounds and sound parts of language. So that's a lot of words, but phonological awareness includes things like rhyming or even being able to clap the syllables in a word, elephant, right? So that's phonological awareness. Part of phonological awareness is phonemic awareness. This is the most important type of phonological awareness because it most directly correlates to kids being able to read and spell. So these skills support reading and writing. So phonemic awareness is awareness of and ability to work with phonemes. Phonemes are the individual sounds in words. So a is a phoneme, is a phoneme, sh is a phoneme, right? And there are different ways to spell phonemes, but here we're really just talking about the sounds, what you can hear. Building phonological awareness and phonemic awareness skills just develops kids' abilities to hear the sounds in words, and when we add letters in, phonics, it becomes phonics, then we're helping them make the connections between sounds and letters, which is what is needed to read and spell. So super important stuff here. Now, when you work on phonological awareness or phonemic awareness, you want to do some work with letters, which is technically phonics, right? When you're showing kids how sounds link to letters and how to, manipulate sounds and change them. But you can also do some phonemic awareness or phonological awareness work without letters. And so I'm going to talk about some hand movements that you can use either way, whether you're working with letters or without letters. One thing to note is that at the time that I'm recording this, more is continuing to unfold about best practices and how much time we should be spending on phonemic awareness and phonological awareness. So I have a question for you, just curious, how much time in your classroom do you have devoted to pure phonological awareness or phonemic awareness activities? Let me know how much time you have devoted currently in the comments. Okay, so now let's talk hand movements. First of all, why would you want to use hand movements? Well, we know that it engages, students in different ways, right? More than just like listening, because phonological awareness is a lot of listening, and that's good, but we also want to see if we can engage their whole bodies. That helps with engagement. But then also there are different phonological awareness skills. And so if you have hand movements that you are modeling and getting the kids to do, that is just kind of a cue to them oh yeah, I'm supposed to be working on this skill. So it's just another tool that we have to engage kids, to get them just clear on what we want them to be focusing on. And then it also actually can help students when maybe they are reading or spelling. So maybe, if they're trying to spell the word hat, you might see them chopping out, which I'll teach you in a second, chopping out the word hat to spell the word, and that's what we want to see. Whatever hand movements you choose to use with students, whether they're what I'm going to show you or something different, the most important thing is to be consistent. So, whenever you're practicing the skill, maybe just orally, use the hand movement. When you're asking kids to apply it to reading and writing, use the hand movement. So consistency is really important here. Let's start with some basic phonological awareness skills. And the first one I want to start with is segmenting syllables. So breaking a word into its syllables, right? So if we have the word computer, computer, I'm pounding, right? So I'm taking my open flat hand and I'm gently pounding the syllables in the word. This is really useful not just when kids are learning to do this, but then when they get to the point of spelling multisyllabic words, what you can do is you can have them pound the syllables. So if they're going to write computer, you have them pound computer. Okay, what's the first syllable? How do we spell that? And then from there you can segment it, which we'll talk about in a second. But this skill is something that I, start when they're young, like early kindergarten. You could even do it in preschool. And then this carries them all the way through being able to actually spell multisyllabic words, which doesn't come until later. Okay, so that's syllable segmenting. Another thing that you could do if you work on onset and rhyme. Now, onset is anything in a word that comes before the vowel. So if the word is sheep, then the onset is sh and the rhyme is eep. So it's different from rhyming, okay? but related, right? So if you have the word string, the onset is the STR, stir, and the rhyme is ing. Okay, so it's everything before the vowel, and then the rhyme, the onset is everything before the vowel, and the rhyme is the vowel and everything that comes after. Hopefully that was clear enough. So anyway, if you are practicing this skill, which I don't spend a lot of time on, I think it's helpful to get kids to hear the first sound in the word. Like if it's a word that just has one sound before the rhyme. So for example, in the word mop, we have op, okay? So hopefully on camera, I'm hoping that it translates the way I want it to. When you demonstrate this to kids, you want to make sure that they are seeing the first sound on the left because we read left to right. So op, okay? Now when the kids do it, you know, obviously you'll see it backwards, but you want them to be thinking left to right, okay? So again, that's for onset and rhyme, and that's not a skill set that I spend a lot of time on. I'll do one more, sh, eep. That's another example of onset and rhyme, okay? As I mentioned before, the most important set of phonological awareness skills are phonemic awareness, and specifically blending, putting phonemes or sounds together, and then segmenting. So there are so many different ways that you can do this. Whatever you choose, again, be consistent and don't be practicing other skills with the same movements. So when I'm working with littles who are segmenting and blending and their fine motor skills maybe aren't quite 100% there yet, I will have them chop for the sounds in words. So for example, if the word is sun, they are gonna chop s, n, and then they blend sun, okay? So they would use this if I said, okay, I want you to segment sun, they do that, right? They're segmenting and then they blend it back together. If I say I want them to spell sun, then they have to chop sun. One thing that makes this a little bit challenging about when they're spelling is, you know, they're using both hands and then I have to pick up the pencil and maybe put it down and pick it up and put it down. So if that's the case, you can also just have them like tap on the table, like but again, sometimes fine motor control isn't quite there yet. So that's why I really rely on chopping. Okay, so this is to segment phonemes and this is to blend. So we use that universally. And then once kids get to the point where they have a little more fine motor control, then they can tap words out. When they tap words out, you want them using their non-dominant, meaning their non-writing hand, because what they can do is they can be writing, and this is helpful when they're spelling, right? They can be writing whatever word they're trying to write, and meanwhile, with their non-writing hand, they're tapping it out and maybe tapping it out again. So that is really handy, and that's an advantage of getting kids to the point where they can tap out a word versus like chopping it, because that's using, you know, both of their hands. So if they're tapping it out, you want them to go from left to right. So depending upon the way you're facing and how you're showing them, you need to make sure that you are showing left to right, whatever, you know, it's gonna be opposite for you, but you need to model that so that the kids can go left to right, okay? So like, let's say that the word is flat. Again, we have the camera here as an added complication, so I hope that I'm showing you left to right, but if not, just know that that's what I'm trying to demonstrate, is for you to be up in front of kids and them to be seeing left to right. So flat. So I'm tapping like this, and then I'm blending. So those movements really, like, it's just a really good visual representation of, okay, we're breaking up the word and then we're putting the sounds back together, okay? Now, for students, again, like, it just depends on how you're having them hold their hand, but you want them to go from left to right, okay? So just something to keep in mind, that directionality. Now, if they do it wrong once, it's not the end of the world, right? But again, we're just emphasizing that, like, okay, we're spelling from left to right, and, you know, we're tapping as well, because for some kids that is hard. There are actually some other hand movements and other visual tools that I use to work on phonological awareness and phonemic awareness with my students. I did a whole training for my kindergarten literacy club, and I also did a training on this for first and second grade literacy club. For first and second grade, it mostly focused on phonemic awareness, where I went into all of that. My literacy clubs are memberships where on the first of each month, you get tons of materials for small group and centers because those parts of the literacy block are so time consuming to plan for. But you also get one 30-minute bite-sized PD where I cover things like these phonological awareness hand movements and tools that I use. And I also give you printables to go with whatever topic I'm teaching. So those trainings for the literacy clubs went more in depth. And if you're interested in the literacy clubs, you can definitely check the caption because I actually have a free trial where you can go in, see what it's all about, download some example materials, which are totally free. Again, they'll be like, I think there's some PD in there, some PD videos or video centers, small groups. So there's a lot of goodies in the free trial, and you can check the caption for more information and to get access. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was helpful. Again, it would mean so much to me if you would hit the like button and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.